She went. What's up, everybody? My name is Yasminda, but everybody calls me Yaz. And welcome to my YouTube channel. I decided to start a YouTube channel because it seemed fun to do. And it is fun to do. And I'm going to continue to make videos for you. So today, I got a new camera. Can't you tell the difference? Like the quality. Yeah.
Do I get bonus points if I act like I care?
And I got a light. I got a ring light. I got me a nice little cute little light over here. I don't know if this works for me. We'll find out. I'm just gonna keep it right there because I like this color, but we're gonna see. But my lips are dry. Yeah.
Ew, gross.
So anyway, today we're gonna check out a video by Chat History again. I love his videos. His videos are Chef's Kiss history. So as I said before, I am a history buff, and he just makes learning so simple and so easy and hilarious. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Painful ancient medicine. Hundreds and even thousands of years ago, humanity's knowledge of itself was still in its infancy. We had a basic idea of what makes us tick, but that wasn't enough to stop the scientifically curious from fiddling around both outside and inside people's bodies. Alright, just gonna poke around in here and what's the matter, doctor? There's a scary skeleton in you! That being the case, it was up to these early pioneers of medicine to provide solutions to human ailments, be it a simple cough or a giant debilitating pulsating tumor. If you were lucky, you'd find a doctor willing to test out different medicines outside of thoughts and prayers. But some of these treatments would have you begging for mercy from whatever divine being you may have believed in. Take, for instance, someone afflicted with hemorrhoids.
What is happening here?
Yeah, that's how this is starting off. Nowadays, you just go to the corner store, prepare yourself an H, finger your B, and sit at home in complete discomfort. A few days later, you're right as rain.
Right.
But back in the past, humans did not have such a luxury. Failed treatment could result in some gnarly infections, which, in non-modern times, was a death sentence. Sure, you could go to an apothecary who could whip up a strange mixture of grimy herbs and unidentifiable animal liquids that you could sip on, but that's most likely going to cause intense gastrointestinal distress. You need something that's tried and true. Well, you can iron out that wrinkle near your wrinkle with this, a hot iron rod.
What?
The theory's simple. Hemorrhoids are basically small open wounds, so a little bit of cauterization would close them.
No. Oh, no. 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 No.
Them bad boys right up and allow them to heal. This method was actually first used in the 4th century BC by father of medicine, Hippocrates. He apparently was a huge fan of cauterization as a last resort cure-all for most afflictions. Have a bad cough? Sear your throat to a medium rare. Have a headache? A burning rod to the temples will make you forget all about it.
What?
Hippocrates was of firm belief that if a condition couldn't be cured with medicine, it could be cured with a knife. If it couldn't be cured with a knife, it could be cured with fire. If it couldn't be cured with fire, well, then you're just shit out of luck. The obvious problem with this cure in the
this picture, and this was not the first picture. This has been like 3 pictures like this so far. Chat, are you all right? Everything okay? You need to tell us something.
rectal region is that it isn't without collateral damage. The application often led skin fusing to the burning rod and getting ripped from the body. Another unfortunate possibility was that the rod was hot enough to burn your skin, but not hot enough to cauterize the hemorrhoids, so you'd only get an appetizer instead of the full meal.
So basically, it was pointless. It didn't matter what you did. You was still, I can't imagine. Not that not, that's personal. I'm not going to, I think I just said it without even saying. Anyway,
You were also under threat of having the target missed completely.
Oh,
One slip,
snap.
trip, loss of grip, and your back lip's getting a rip. It is reported that
not your back lip. I've never heard that before.
patients would claim the rectal remedy was successful, but then again, would you agree to a follow-up treatment if you weren't cured? Probably not. We move on from being a pain in the ass to being a pain in the dick.
I just want to say that my camera is immaculate. Look, like, you can see my nose hairs.
Metallic catheters have been around for thousands of years, dating all the way back to around 3000 BC.
Can you show that? Too late.
Guys were used to relieve patients of urinary obstructions, which didn't allow for proper passage of pee. Ever lie in bed at night needing to go, but you're too comfy, so you just lie there feeling the pressure of building in your bladder? Ever have to hold it in on a long car ride home where you're twitching and groaning, yearning for that sweet urethral flow?
Christ. Well, oh my God, I'm going to share with you guys a very embarrassing story that no one asked for. I was outside with my cousin one time, right? And we were hanging out. I had to use the bathroom, like very bad. Mind you, I'm like 12, like 11, 12 at this point. I should be being able to go to the bathroom without wetting myself at all. Guess what happened? I was in an elevator and I just couldn't hold it anymore. I urinated on myself in front of everybody. Yeah, they made fun of me for like a whole month straight. I don't think I went outside again after that. It was during the summertime, so it's not like the kids I was going to school with were around during the summer. So I guess I was safe when school started back up again. But that was very embarrassing. I swore to take that to my grave. But you're welcome.
You've experienced a fraction of the pain generated from being physically unable to drain your piss pouch. This was such a prevalent problem throughout history that it was on the high priority list of these super science.
Why are they all surrounding him like well, I guess they are awaiting their turn.
People of yore. Evidence of early versions of these tools have been found throughout ancient Egypt, Rome, Greece, China, and India, with materials being used ranging from onion stalks to solid gold. The theory was simple. Like a clogged drain, you just gotta poke around in there to clear the blockage. Enter the catheter, which enters you. After snaking around your tract, the tube enters your bladder and provides a cleared path for you to relieve yourself. As will be a common theme throughout this video, ancient times had only rudimentary methods for sedatives such as opiates, herbs, and alcohol to subdue any pain. If these weren't available, you could always bite down on a stick or something while getting a metal tube shoved up your nethers. The insertion procedure was delicate and tricky. Since these tools were handmade, edges could be rough.
This is precisely the reason why I can't work in the medical field. Along with the fact that I don't like old people, I can't. Inserting, taking out, rearranging anything in anybody, I can't. Won't be able to. Thank God I'm not a boy.
Without proper care, your internals could get all kinds of tore up, which would certainly have no way of being treated effectively. If improperly cleaned, a catheter could leave behind debris in your bladder, causing infection or even worse, future blockages. So with that, only a properly prepared person performed the painful pubic procedure.
Chat history, what is with all the P's? Do you sit in your room, like do you go through a dictionary and try to find all the words that start with P that actually go with what you're talking about? Because this is like the third time I've heard him do it. All right, I'm sorry. You're not here to look at me laugh. We're learning. We're here to learn. Let's go back to learning.
As technology evolved, however, catheters became flexible and more ergonomic for both male and female patients, with various shapes and sizes to increase comfort, or rather decrease discomfort.
I want to know who's using that big one at the end. What are you using that for? Whose hole is that going in?
Comfort. But back in those times, a few minutes of sharp pain was well worth the relief of long-term agony and potential kidney failure. Let's just say that without a catheter...
Why is he This video is unhinged. Why is he down there moving like that?
You're in for a bad time. Speaking of having a bad time, this would be one of them. As a follow-up to metallic catheters, if the obstruction was a calcified stone too large to pass naturally, surgical intervention may have been in the stars for you. The first recorded practice of lithotomy dates back to ancient Greeks. The word lithotomy derives from the Greek language, with lithos meaning stone and tomos meaning cut. This makes sense as surgeons were quite literally cutting for a stone stuck in your belly. To say that the procedure was not pretty
is this picture? What is, can I even, I don't even think I can show. It's on here, so I guess I can show it. Chat. What chat history? What is going on? What is happening? Where are these pictures coming from? Who was on your research team? Where do they find these things from? These pictures are crazy. Where did this picture come from? Oh man, like
would be a
God.
drastic understatement. Nowadays, lithotomy is performed by making a small incision in the abdomen and using a small camera tool to fish around for the offending mass. Back in the day, however, this was a perineal procedure. Your perineum, if you're unaware, is that no man's land between your anus and your junk. Modern scholars refer to it as the taint or the grundle. That's the incision site. It's gonna suck. Lying on your back with your knees pulled to your chest.
Again, chat history. Again, chat history. What is chat history? What is happening? Oh, I'm trying not to crack up because my mic can't take the loudness when I start cracking up. What is, I'm trying to hold in laughter. I want to burst into it so bad. Where did these pictures come from, chat? Where did these pictures come from? Okay.
To give the doctor a front row seat to your particulars, a surgeon would make the invasive entry and beeline it for your bladder to attempt removal of the stone, if he could find it. Physical removal was either performed with a hooking tool or with the surgeon's fingers, like he was trying to get the last chip out of a Pringles can. If you were lucky, the stone or stones produced in your body were relatively small in diameter, maybe a quarter inch or less than a centimeter. But as you can imagine, problems arose if these stones were large. Excessive bleeding and internal damage can occur from bladder.
Oh man. Oh Jesus. Oh Jesus Christ.
Bladder stones exceeding 1.5 inches or about 4 centimeters, though luckily these were rare. It's no surprise that these surgical procedures were excruciatingly painful. It was almost required that an assistant or two would be present to restrain you during the procedure to avoid any unnecessary damage from involuntary struggling as you endured the pain. After extraction, the patient was sat in a shallow pool of vinegar and salt to halt any bleeding before being stitched up like a teddy bear.
Okay.
There's no question that the procedure sucked, but the long-term benefits outweighed the short-term investment. Capital gains, more like capital pains.
Okay. Oh my God.
Now,
this
I did
camera's
briefly
amazing.
cover trepanation way back when I thought doing a monotone narration was a good idea, but let's revisit it. So, trepanation is the act of deliberately drilling a hole in one's head for the sake of some kind of medical relief. This could be physical pain like excessive skull pressure or headaches, or for spiritual reasons, as some early societies believed that trepanation allowed for the release of spooky spirits haunting your melon. Trepanation is one of the earliest known surgical procedures performed throughout human history, with evidence being found across the entire globe as far back as the Neolithic era, the end of the Stone Age. So imagine you want to get some relief for your frequent pounding headaches, and your local medicine man whips out his iconic and sharp obsidian slab. Dr. Ooga Booga gives you a smile as he starts carving away at your dome, peeling skin from skull. You'd think that fight or flight mode would kick in, but Next came the actual carving of bone, either by making rectangular intersecting cuts to eventually pop out a square of your skull, or by slowly whittling away at it until reaching your soft, chewy brain like it was a dang Tootsie Pop. There are a few known trepanation methods observed across the world. The first two I just described, rectangular cuts and scraping. The third was the use of a tree fine, a hollow-toothed cylinder. This is like popping into your local Home Depot for a Craftsman V20 brushless drill and 2-inch bimetal hole saw set. Is this gonna hurt? Only if you scream. The last and most commonly used method was the drilling of closely spaced holes, usually performed with a bow and flint. Now, having your head carved into is certainly not a pleasurable experience, so you'd probably want the procedure to be over quickly.
Bro, I'll just have a headache. I'll just have a headache. I'll just have whatever I got going on up here. It'll just be whatever's going on. You're not, no. First of all, you gotta cut my hair. That's first of all. Second of all, there's no anesthesia. There's nothing to knock me out. I'm not about to just sit there and let you scrape.
Well, think again. Since it was known that jamming a sharp object into the brain would almost certainly diminish the surgeon's success rate, trepanation was a long, delicate, and grueling process. Trepanation is still practiced in modern medicine as a craniectomy to treat brain injuries and remove brain tumors.
Okay.
Surprisingly, though, the majority of recovered remains showing evidence of trepanation also showed signs of continued bone growth and healing, indicating that these subjects survived their surgeries. It's estimated that around 80% of those who got their noggin knocked ended up living, though it's questionable if they lived well.
Right.
Imagine spending months or even years training as a warrior, perfecting the art of handling a blade, mastering close combat, and being the embodiment of peak physical strength. Only to be taken out by an arrow the moment you step out onto the battlefield. Huge bummer, but all's fair in love and war, and boy, did you love war until about 5 seconds ago. Now lying on the ground, your life slowly slipping away from a simple arm wound, you look up to see a friendly face. It's one of them fancy new soldiers. What do they call them? Oh yeah, medics. His whole job is to make you feel better and to get you back up on your feet. Your other buddies on the battlefield? They can wait a bit. They're not going anywhere. Now, unfortunately for you, the arrow's pretty deep, so things aren't looking too great. Shallow entry wounds you could simply rip out, rub some dirt in it, and call it a day. These deeper wounds, however, they need a bit more persuasion. Most arrowhead designs at the time are barbed. Where they land?
First of all, number 2, what are you doing? Who are you hitting? And why are you shaped like that? Number 15, where are you going?
They're meant to stay. So here are your options. Option 1. If there's already an exit wound, snap the arrow in two and push it through to the other side.
I saw that.
Sorry if you're eating while watching this. Option 2. If there's no exit wound, you're gonna need to pull the arrowhead out. Simply open the entry wound enough to find the arrowhead and gently pull, avoiding the barbs ripping at your delicate insides. Option 3. If the arrowhead is stuck in a bone or too deep to retrieve,
leave it there.
Option 4. If you can retrieve the arrow and you want things to be quick like a band-aid, use the classic Tooth Fairy method. Simply tie the protruding arrow to another arrow and fire away. The offending arrow is ripped out.
What? Huh? Okay. Okay. I see the logic. But no. Yeah, I see it, but no.
Out and you're left there in complete and utter agony. Now we just have to dump some honey on that bad boy, wrap it up nice and neat in a filthy cloth covered in mud and dirt, and you'll be back to it in no time.
The fuck?
No, this isn't just chilling out in the living room. This has to do with ancient eye surgery, which honestly makes my toes curl because I hate anything that has to do with eyes. My wife, she constantly tortures me by poking her own eyeball for fun just because she can, and it honestly just heebies my jeebies. So here we go. Couching is the first known surgical.
My son, my younger son, he does this thing where he takes his eyelids and he flips them on the outside. It drives me nuts. I hate when he does it. He just randomly comes over and be like, "Mom, look."
Procedure to counteract a cataract. What's a cataract? It's the clouding of the natural lens inside of your eyeball. If you know anything about light scattering, you'll know that semi-transparency does a lot of it. Makes your vision go all wonky like you're looking at the world through a steamy shower door, except permanently and much less sexy. Well, not permanently anymore, because them ancient Egyptians found a great way to stab your own eyes and get rid of the problem. However, it would be much, much later until we got something recorded in fine detail. Around the 6th century BC, ancient Indian physician Sushruta wrote about his breakthrough cataract removal process called couching in his medical texts. Look at this guy. You're telling me you wouldn't put your life in the hands of ancient Indian Santa Claus?
Actually, no, he looks very promising. I would actually trust him to touch my eyes. He looked like he know what he doing. It's the cleanliness I'm worried about.
You need to leave.
But he looked like he know what he doing.
Come on. The theory behind couching is what you'd expect. Take a cloudy lens and push it out of the way. This was done with a curved needle to delicately puncture the eye and dislodge the cloudy lens. This was likely very painful, as you're literally ripping out your eye's lens from its natural position. The cataract would either be pushed aside out of the vision pathway or pressed out of the eyeball. Now, to his credit, Sushruta was very mindful of the need to have clean tools and a clean environment for surgeries.
I was
He
concerned
was
about
centuries ahead of European medicine in that regard, but his sterilization techniques weren't perfect. Patients often experienced agonizing infections which inevitably led to the complete loss of vision in the affected eye. It is estimated that roughly 70% of patients were left completely blind due to surgical complications. But hey, if you're gonna go blind anyway, why not take the 30% chance and risk it for the biscuit?
bloodletting. I know what this is.
Ah, the iconic bloodletting, the basic bitch of ancient medicine. Despite being outright stupid, this practice was used throughout numerous cultures across human history, beginning as early as the ancient Egyptians around 3000 BC, but spreading as far as ancient Rome, Greece, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, Mesoamerica, and Africa. Pretty much everywhere. The prevailing theory was that most ailments were the result of having an imbalance of the four humors in the body. If you're unaware, the four humors theory was developed by none other than our bearded boy, Hippocrates. It states that our bodies consist of four bodily fluids: blood, yellow bile, black bile, and phlegm. A perfectly normal and healthy person was believed to have these four fluids in perfect balance. Any tip to one extremity can lead to disease and a shift in personality. Having a bad cough? You've got too much phlegm in your system. Cough it up. Got some terrible tummy issues? You got too much yellow bile. Time to touch your uvula. Almost anything else? Well, you've got too much bad quality blood in you, so let's slice open an artery and purge you of your impurities. Now, typically, blood was drained until the patient passed out, which is horrible, stupid, and dumb. Yes, your body constantly produces new blood, but it's also a self-sustaining cycle of breaking down the old and producing new. There's no need to drain the pool. An incision would be made around the inside of your elbow, and your heart would do the rest, pumping out your life force and making you weaker by the second. To no surprise, incisions would often lead to infection, and with less blood in your system and thus less white blood cells to fight off said infection.
Yeah, which is my point, which is why that was just always has been the dumbest thing ever. Who came up with that? Let me take a wild guess.
Nope. Whatever initial ailment you may have had now pales in comparison to the new pickle you've put yourself in. There's not much humor in that, is there?
No. Oh yeah, dentistry. Oh, I remember doing a video about it before. Oh, it's just it's just so. I hate teeth stuff. I hate mouth stuff. I hate teeth stuff. It's just so. Oh, it just. All right, put your big girl panties on, Yasminda.
So I decided to be a little silly with this chapter.
Okay.
Enjoy this, cringe.
Oh God.
Oh, oops.
Oh my God.
In today's times, you can count yourself blessed, cause modern dentistry is the best that it gets. But step into the past, that pain gets intense. No Novocaine blast, no numbing defense. Impactions, extractions, gonna ruin your day. This dental interaction to rid you of decay. Looking for pliers? Now try a bronze hook. Yanking at your teeth without a second look. Hold still, time to draw you shady surgeon, please. But you can't even hear him through your shrieks and screams. Sharpened stone to the bone, now you're all alone. As you groan and you moan on this painful throne. Need relief? Try this. Here, give that a taste. Don't feel a difference, cause it's dead mouse paste. Have some opium to try to dull the throb. Well, now you're just high and you're still gonna sob. So sit in that chair, chewing on your herbs, cause you're gonna feel despair when he strikes that nerve. The gravity of cavities is taking its toll, but it's agony, insanity surging through your soul. Pull it out, that tooth is gone. You scream and you shout in your perpetual yawn. All done now, you're good for a bit. Just chug the sheep wine, okay, now spit. That shit sucked, but at least you're alive, so you can even leave a like or hit that subscribe.
Hey.
Chat history, bringing you horrible dad raps. Alright, here's another video.
That was definitely a dad rap, but you had bars. Those were bars, and they were informative bars. Yeah. So, thank you guys for checking me out. That's gonna be the video. What a lesson, right? I'm glad we all learned something. I'm glad we all learned something new. Be sure to check out my other videos, and without further ado, I'll see you guys in the next video. I don't know why I said further ado, but bye.